I had to come to the point where I didn't feel guilty focusing on me because at the end of the day, everybody was pulling for me. And so I got into this martyr mode where it was like, no, I have to do that because the kids need me. No, I have to do that because my partner needs me. My mom needs me. My mentees need me. My godchildren need me. My job needs me. And then me was like falling apart inside. But I felt guilty. It felt selfish. It actually felt selfish. And people say that.
Welcome to the Property Management Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. Now, I just want to ask you a quick question before I dive in, like I do every week, actually. I read something recently and it really resonated with me. And it goes something like this: asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's actually a sign of strength. It shows that you have the courage to admit when you don't know something and learn something new. And I wish I had this advice when I started my property management business. I never asked for help. I rarely went to conferences and I never did any personal development work. And it really affected all aspects of my life, my family life, my business relationships, but worst of all, it affected my own mental and physical health. And if you are a property manager or a business owner struggling right now, whether it's with your systems and processes, your marketing or your growth or even your team, know that you are not alone and there is actually a lot of support out there to help you. You just have to have the courage to admit that you don't know all the answers all the time and be open to receiving that help and support. And one of the ways that I personally have created that helping hand is through my property management membership, PM Accelerate. And it has all the admin tools, growth, tech and software training, personal development support, and done for you tasks like social media posts, blogs, and newsletters. All you need to do is head to the link and check it out. I created this as the solution that I needed when I first started my business, and it is all at a very affordable price for property managers and business owners. Now, I have a belter episode coming your way. My guest is a Brooklyn native, and as in Brooklyn, New York, and she is amongst many things a single mum of five, a podcaster, author, and all round amazing entrepreneur and businesswoman. So let me introduce Jackie Taylor, all the way from across the Pacific in the United States. Now, she's got more than 2 decades under her belt in leading global operations and implementing dynamic people and technology strategies. Jackie understands that achieving work life balance as a working mum is a myth. And Jackie believes it's time to reframe such an unattainable goal. She offers real world advice and inspiration. She helps people from diverse backgrounds realize their potential and engage more rewardingly in their lives and their careers. Now, recognized for her high energy, vast intellect, and down to earth humor and unerring ability to connect with people. Now, she's also a successful author of 3 books, and her latest book, Give Me a Boost, is launching at the time of recording this podcast. And it offers a down to earth, easy to understand look at what it takes to be a successful business owner. Learn how to nurture and grow your business even more by using the powerful strategies that catapult your business ahead of your competition and enable you to achieve your dreams. Yes, please, I want that. Now, aside from all of her success, Jackie also loves to travel, is energized by being near the water, enjoys a good karaoke night, and loves a strong cup of coffee. But one of the things that I most loved about finding out more about her was that she sets a goal of laughing every single day. So if you are ready for some real talk about the real juggle everyday mum's face, then take a listen to this episode. Thank you so much, Jackie, for joining me on the Property Management Podcast. Now, before we dive in, can you please share with our audience a little bit about yourself and how you got started doing what you're doing now?
Sure. So I am a diversity enthusiast. I am guided by my passions and I'm energized by helping other people. Professionally, I spent over 20 years, that's all I'll admit to today, over 20 years as a management consultant working in hybrid between technology and human resources, all the way to what I do now, which is as a partner with a big four consulting firm. And I also am a mom of five wonderful children and balancing that with my personal endeavors.
Fantastic. So, amongst all those amazing things that you have done, the topic that I want to talk about today is blowing up that myth around work life balance. And I know as a mother of four running multiple businesses, it's really not possible to balance it all. Share with us your journey and how you describe it as integration or juggling it all, and so that we can show up as our best selves at home and at work.
Yeah, I love the topic because it's a myth. There's no, I think somebody had a slip of a tongue or something when they said work life balance or didn't really think that through. Balance assumes that you will at some point get everything on even keel and have homeostasis or something along those lines. And so I don't believe in work life balance. I believe in the juggle. And so that's why I started the podcast, The Real Juggle, because it is a juggle. At some points, my weight is perfect and I'm going to the gym and everything is wonderful and my kids are screaming bloody murder, you know what I mean? At that time. So sometimes work is going well and then something else falls short. And so to me, it's a juggle. When you're juggling where one ball's in the air and the other one's down, I think we just have to settle on that and that'll manage our expectations.
I can totally empathize. And I think women, you're based in America, women in Australia, working mums, the struggle is real for all of us. I don't think it doesn't matter geographically, wherever you are in the world or whatever your ethnicity is, it's the struggle is real for all of us. And I would love you to share some strategies with our audience. Most of my audience are actually working mums who are in property management industry or starting their own businesses in the property management industry. And you write books, you have got a podcast, you're working in a career in a corporate role. So, what are some of your secrets and strategies that you use to keep yourself organized, manage your time, and avoid that big topic of overwhelm and burnout?
Yeah, Kylie, I agree with you. It is definitely the great unifier, what we all go through, so we can commiserate together. One of the things that I do is I prioritize my self care. I know it sounds cliche, but I have this thing where every so often I go on solo locations. And so, you have the vacation or activity you do with your partner, and then you'll have the family vacation. I make sure that I do solo vacations. And it's amazing because the first time I did it, I went to Mexico. Probably shouldn't have chosen Cancun to do a solo vacation. I got better as time went on. But I realized after the first 24 hours, I said, oh my gosh, I've gone an entire day without talking. So from leaving the airport to what I was doing, I'd eaten, I was going for walks, I wasn't talking. And how I felt and the relief and my shoulders actually dropping was amazing. And so I committed to doing that on a regular basis. That's one of the things that I do. And then the other thing, and we can keep talking about it, is what we're doing right now, which is I don't profess to have all the answers. And I talk to folks who are going through the same thing, like your audience.
Amazing. So I actually love having solo holidays as well. And I think the thing for me is that when you have that alone time, it clears that space, that mental clutter that you constantly, I'm a bit of a mental list maker. So I've got to pick the kids up at 6. I've got to take them here. I've got to get groceries. I've got to whatever.
Yeah.
But I think when you have that mental space, it's when you have your best ideas and your best inspiration. Would you agree?
I completely agree. And I am a mental list maker. I make lists in my phone using the memo, and I actually keep paper next to my bed so that I can write things down so that I don't have insomnia and I can go to sleep. And when you talk about having that space to innovate, to me, sleep is medicine. Sleep is actually goals that people underestimate because it puts your body in a very relaxed state. And if you allow yourself to dump off writing lists and things like that to get it out of your mind, then you can innovate. I had some of my best ideas after meditation or like waking up from a good rest. I don't know about you.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as I take that space, I have, the best inspiration, the best ideas. It
And
is
our kids see it, right? Our kids get to see us, our children get to see how we deal with stress, how we handle juggling multiple priorities. I think that makes us better moms.
I know, and although we're not perfect all the time, I don't know about you, I still have moments where, and I know that's the moment where when I'm snapping or I'm emotionally reactive, I know that's when I need to have some space. I need to reprioritize. I need to take some more time out and do that self-care as well. Do you do any other things like meditation, exercise? What are some of your other strategy?
Yeah, I definitely exercise and work out. And I noticed that my college daughter, who before says, I don't want to do that. I don't want to. Now she actually has a workout regimen. She's more of a type A. So I had to tell her there are certain hormones that are released. It's actually biological. It's not just mom wanting you to work out or judging you. And so she's getting benefit from that. But I'll tell you one of the things that I do that I didn't realize, Kylie, how many people go for extended periods of time without laughing. So I don't take myself too seriously, even though I'm in management consulting or working with entrepreneurs from time to time. I make sure that I laugh on a regular basis. And when I tell you how much that lifts my spirits and just lightens the mood and helps me deal with things in a better way. So my next recommendation is laughter. Do you laugh daily?
Okay, tell me, would you like to make maintenance your superpower? Well, you can. And you don't even need to tell anyone. It's all thanks to Tappy, a powerful property care software that takes all the pain, stress, and chaos out of dealing with maintenance and turns it into a predictable process that is reliable and frictionless, where every maintenance process is a smooth experience for everyone, with value adds that your owners and tenants will absolutely love. And it seamlessly integrates with your property management software too. And here's the bonus, it can actually help grow your business as well. And if you're rolling your eyes at me right now and thinking, yeah, right, I've heard all this before, then do yourself a favor and book in for a demo at tappy.com.au. Mention That Property Mum and receive 1 month free on Tappy. No, I don't, but that's a perfect segue into my next question for you, which was when I was stalking you for the podcast, I read something about you that really stuck with me, and that was your goal that you set to laugh every day. So tell me about that a bit more. Let's dive in a bit deeper and how that actually does improve your life. Because there's definitely days in the industry that we're all in as property managers that it's really hard to find the positive side. It's very negative. Everyone's always coming to you with a problem.
Yeah.
You get worn down by a lot of that negative energy.
Yeah. And mental health workers, therapists, pastors, property managers. Sometimes you're in jobs that are just weigh you down. So initially I set the goal to laugh every day. Now it's like working out. In the beginning, you have to be more, after a while, you don't even feel right unless you do a workout. That's the way I am with laughter. And now it's just natural and my teams, people that I work with enjoy working with me a bit more. And they've said that because it's just it's a real energy. You can't see the energy, but you exude a certain energy. It's like a heaviness in the room, even the virtual room. And my team members will say, oh my gosh, I've been on all these calls. I'm so happy to be on this one with you because I know you're going to say something funny. I'm like, pressure, but ultimately it'll start to like self-manifest. If you're purposeful about it, you'll notice you'll do it. The people around you will do it. And you know what? Those whiny teenager aliens that you're raising, they'll start to do it too.
Oh, I so love that. I think that is a very valuable lesson for all of us, especially in this industry. Now, let's talk a little bit about, let's talk about your podcast first, and then we'll dive into the new book that you've launched. So the podcast, it's all about this work-life juggle for women in particular. I know dads do have experienced the juggle too. So tell us a little bit about some of the messages and that you want to share with people through your podcast.
Yeah. So when I launched the podcast about 1.5 to maybe 2 years ago now, it was about this juggle that we live because I felt that my male counterparts or in the workplace didn't really realize the challenges. Kylie, I would literally join Zoom calls or conference calls after having food on the counter, like mouthing or like doing sign language to the kids, dealing with an IEP. And for us in the States, that's if your kid is in school and they need special help in classes, you've got an entire process to support that. And there were days that I sat back and I said, some people don't have to go through what we go through. They don't have that same pressure. So I created this. And then I also take care of my mom, who is a senior. She lives with me. And so doctor's appointments and things of the like. So I created The Real Juggle to just tell that story. The people you least expect also have a juggle that's going on in the background. I had the pleasure of being able to interview some celebrities everyone's fawning after who were able to disclose, I suffer from depression. I take care of an elderly parent. I take care of a sibling with a major disability. And people would just say, wow, I would have never known. So it just helps to engender empathy that we should have for one another.
Absolutely. And yeah, I can totally empathize with that. I take care of an elderly mother as well who's got very high care needs. I don't look after her full time. She's in a care facility now. But it's that emotional juggle, that struggle as well. And when people are talking about these conversations, I always think back to when I was a new mum and I was a career woman and my work was everything and I had kids later and was in a bit of postnatal depression probably and I felt so alone. But then I joined a mother's group and I started understanding that other women were experiencing exactly what I was experiencing. I wasn't alone. Yep. Yeah. And the more we talk about it and normalize these conversations, people can realize that they're not alone in their struggles that they go through. So,
Yeah.
and so that obviously the podcast has now led you into, is this your first book or you've got a few books there? So talk about Give Me Boost.
Yeah, so this is my third book, but it's been a while. My first two books were when I was in the throes of parenting. So it was a parenting book called Superpower Parenting, and that was prior to teens. So I definitely should do a follow-up. And then I did a children's book, just again, when you're in the throes of parenting. So then fast forward to today, where I wrote this book, Give Me a Boost, for the historically underresourced entrepreneurs. And that's minority entrepreneurs, but also women entrepreneurs. And what that forced me to do was to take another look at the podcast and say, there's an element to the juggle that's specific to Boost. So this upcoming season is the Real Juggle Boost edition, where I'm talking to entrepreneurs, I'm talking to intrapreneurs, so people who are entrepreneurial, but still working within a corporate setting. And we talk about the things that we are going through, right? With that juggle and what that looks like and how to deal with it.
If you are anything like me, you think you know your rent roll numbers. Well, I thought I did until I had a rent roll health check and I was quite literally shocked. The money I was leaving on the table was astounding. And this is not something that I'm proud to admit. There were missed management fees, let fees, advertising and lease renewal fees not being charged, and properties even without bonds. And all of this was happening despite monthly audits being conducted in my business. So how did I uncover all these gaps in my valuable income? Well, I had a rent roll due diligence from my good friend Tazi, aka the Rent Roll Queen and founder of the Tazi Way, a specialist in rent roll due diligence, business valuation and management rights. The Tazi Way is the innovative force driving the real estate industry. With 25 years of business and real estate acumen, they find gaps and risks in your agency to find undiscovered value. If you'd like to book your business in for a rent roll due diligence, head to the link in the show notes and mention That Property Mum for a 10% discount. There's been so much talk of stress, overwhelm and burnout in property management lately. Do you want to know how I overcame all of that? Yes, I hit rock bottom multiple times, but I got myself a virtual assistant. Actually, not just one, but 3. But I didn't just get any VA, I got a PMVA. What are they? Well, they are the most well-trained in the business. And not only that, you also have a backup VA, so that essentially your business is never without admin support ever again. And my health, time and business has never looked back. Your PMVA can take care of tasks like rent arrears, lease preparation and renewals, maintenance follow-up, routine inspection bookings, data entry, audits, prospecting, inbox management, and so much more. And the best part of implementing a PMVA in my business was that it freed up my time and my team's time to take care of important things like customer service. What makes me feel so safe is that PMVA is owned by Tiffany Botel, both here and in the Philippines, making my data secure and giving me more control over the VA arrangement. So head to the link in the show notes to book in your discovery call with Lady Boss Tiff. Fantastic. So I love personal development work and I'm sure you do as well. I have a feeling. So can you share with our audience a tool, a resource, a podcast, something that has helped you juggle everything, be able to do all the things that you do, like podcast, write books, have a full-time job, have 5 children, 5 teenage children. What has helped you to be able to keep your sanity and get to where you are now?
Yeah, I have a couple of specific items that have helped me, but I think in general, before I talk about those specifics, I had to come to the point where I didn't feel guilty focusing on me because at the end of the day, everybody's pulling for me. And so I got into this martyr mode where it was like, no, I have to do that because the kids need me. No, I have to do that because my partner needs me. My mom needs me. My mentees need me. My godchildren need me. My job needs me. And then me was like falling apart inside. But I felt guilty. It felt selfish. It actually felt selfish. And people say that.
I
But
can
when
relate to that. I can definitely
Yeah.
relate to that. Yep.
So then I finally got to the point, and I'm unapologetic about it. And my kids did have something to say about it when they saw the change. What do you mean you're going? What? Wait, what do you mean I can't come in? No, I'm meditating. I'm listening to my music. I'm relaxing. And so when I started doing those things, I got energy. And I would literally write down the thing like, what are the things that bring me joy? Yes, my kids. Yes, the Lord, God. I get that. But what are the other things that I can activate that bring me joy? And Kylie, I would write those things down. I enjoy water. So I'm going to go near more water and I'm going to find the time and I'm going to prioritize it and everybody else is going to have to wait. And so that gave me more energy to do other things. Specific things that helped me get into that mindset. I love the 4 agreements because to me, that helped me not have that emotional burden. Oh, what do they think? What do they think? It's not me. It's about them. And it puts things in context. And then I love the book, The Secret and The Celestine Prophecy. So those books around manifestation and being in the right time at the right place and everything happening for a reason. I would listen to the audio books. I'd read the book. Those things helped me get in the right headspace.
I love all those. And I have the 4 agreements I have read. I love that. I've had The Secret on my list to read for a while, but I haven't got around to it yet. So
I'm excited for you, actually.
yeah, so
You're going to enjoy it.
that'll be next. I actually have a pile of books beside my bed. I haven't got into audiobooks. I listen to podcasts, but I haven't got into audiobooks. But I've got this pile of books that is ridiculous. And my kids come in every night and say, have you not reduced that yet? And I'm like, no, because then I keep getting a new one. But I love reading.
I probably have some behind me. So I do the same thing. I wonder how many people in your listening and viewing audience do the same thing. I go to the bookstore. I still like the smell and to touch physical books.
Yes.
Go to the bookstore. I'm like, oh, this is good. And that's it. I go for one thing. And then I end up getting all of these. And I say, I'm going to read it on vacation. I'm going to read it when I take a break. So I'm a kindred spirit there.
Absolutely. Now, thank you so much for your conversation today. I have really enjoyed connecting with you from across the other side of the world. I know it's late-ish at nighttime there. How can our audience connect with you further or even work with you? You do some mentoring as well?
Yes, like I said, I'm energized by helping others. And so I feel like I've been blessed and I always want to pass that on to other people where I can. So I do a lot of mentorship for, like I said, professionals who are considering themselves intrapreneurs, as well as entrepreneurs, founders of their business. So you can reach me by going to my website at JackiePTaylor.com. I'm lucky enough to have that also be my handle. So as long as you put the P in the middle, I usually pop up on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, as well as Facebook. And then also listen to the podcast as I listen to yours, listen to the podcast on therealjuggle.com. It's a podcast and a vidcast.
And it is amazing. I've listened to a couple of episodes. So thank you. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm really super grateful to have connected with you and I look forward to continuing to connect with you further.
Yes, it's been great talking to you.
Property inspections, entries, exits, incomings, outgoings, routine inspections, whatever you call them, you have to do them. And I remember when I first started as a property manager, you had to handwrite the reports and take notes on a digital camera, then upload the photo memory card to your computer and hope and pray that they weren't all blurry or your computer had enough memory to store them. But gone are those days. Thanks to Inspection Express. Now, Inspection Express is not only the #1 tool used by leading property managers across Australia and New Zealand, but the leader in groundbreaking new tech in the industry with the launch of 360-degree virtual tours. Now, virtual tours is upping the ante, giving landlords, owners, and directors unparalleled 360-degree virtual access to their properties. So head to the link in the show notes to book in your free demo with Inspection Express. If you love the Property Management Podcast, you've got to check out the PM Collective, hosted by my friend, Ashley Goodchild. She discusses things like how to have awkward conversations about pay rises, yes please, how to raise the bar in property management, and why so many people just seem to fall into the industry. You've got to love stories like that. She'll leave you with great advice, actionable steps to take, and let you know that you're not alone in any of the challenges that you face. So be sure to check out the PM Collective wherever you get your podcasts. Can I ask you a quick favour before you leave this episode? Now, we all know how important reviews are for businesses these days, and mine is no different. If you could spare just a minute to follow, rate and review this podcast, it would mean a lot to me. In fact, what would get me super excited is if you share this podcast with someone in the industry who you think might need to hear some of the episodes right now. And if you'd like to find out more about working with me or any of the products I have to help you start, grow or scale your property management business, head to my website, thatpropertymum.com.au, or check out the links in the show notes.